Okay, give me more Fannie Willis, man. Did she or not? I feel like CNN is avoiding the question here a little bit. What are you hiding, CNN? Did she throw it back? I want to know. I'm saying it. Okay. Oh, salacious Fannie Willis. Let's do that.
We have some breaking news from Fulton County, Georgia, where District Attorney Fannie Willis, who's spearheading the Georgia election subversion case against former President Donald Trump, has now filed a written response to an attempt to have her disqualified. CNN's Zach Cohen is joining us now. So, Zach, here, Fannie Willis is responding to this attempt to have her disqualified over allegations that she has had an inappropriate relationship with the top prosecutor, one of the top prosecutors that she hired to take on this case. Walk us through her response.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Boris, we just got this ruling or this motion minutes ago, and Fannie Willis, in her opposition to this disqualification effort, calls the allegations salacious and acknowledges that they garnered a lot of media attention over the last couple of days. But she goes into point by point rebutting the legal arguments for why she should not be disqualified. And I'm going to go through a few of them. She says District Attorney Willis has no financial conflict of interest that constitutes a legal basis for disqualification. She says there is no personal conflict or interest of interest that justifies her disqualification personally or that of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. She says the attacks on Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, that's who she's alleged to have had an affair with, the attacks on his qualifications are factually inaccurate, unsupported, and malicious. In addition to...
It's a little bit of workplace fucking, dude. It's a little bit of workplace fucking, dude. Trying to get a nut.
Providing no basis whatsoever to dismiss the indictment or disqualify Special Prosecutor Wade. It goes on to say that she has made no public statements that warrant disqualification or judicial inquiry, and that the criticism of the process utilized to appoint and compensate the special prosecutors in this case demonstrates basic misunderstandings of rudimentary county and state regulations and provides no basis for the dismissal of the indictment or disqualification of any members of the prosecution team. So obviously she is, again, point by point, disputing the legal arguments that were raised by Trump's lead attorney, Steve Sadow, and the attorneys for two other of Trump's co-defendants in this Georgia case. We're still obviously going through this motion, but it's clear Fannie Willis says, no, there is no legal basis for me to be disqualified from this case or for the indictment itself to be thrown out.
Okay. Well, did she fuck or not? CNN. CNN. Answer the question that everyone is asking. Was she chasing the nut or not? Because it doesn't seem like that answer, doesn't seem like that bullet by bullet point addressed the question that's on everybody's minds. Did Fannie Willis fuck the special prosecutor? The same.
And she and the defendant's team are due in front of a judge on February 15th to make this argument in person. We know you'll be watching that alongside us. Zach Cohen, thanks so much for the reporting.
In less than 1 week, the Supreme Court is going to hear arguments on whether or not Donald Trump can stay on the ballot in Colorado. His legal team is preparing their strategy. The case was kicked to the high court after Colorado determined Trump should not be allowed to run for office again because of his role in the January 6th insurrection. A similar ruling was reached in Maine. CNN's Joan Biskupic joins us this morning to share her new reporting. Joan, as you're looking at this, what are you now learning about how attorneys on both sides of this case are prepared?
I'm so conflicted on the Fannie Willis shit. I'm so conflicted because, like, on the one hand, I think she is the worst type of careerist DA, okay? It's the worst type of careerist DA that, like, I mean, obviously, like, went after Young Thug and YSL in, like, an incredibly aggressive way, including, like, greatly stretching the boundaries, in my opinion. That unironically undermines, like, freedom of expression, even though, like, obviously, let's be real. I mean, Young Thug did do some shit, right? And in very dumb ways. But having said that, like using rap lyrics routinely, and claiming that the entire record label, is actually technically a gang, all this shit, like it I think under normal circumstances would not fly, but it's such an edge case in this situation where like there is truth to it, right? That it's people are just kind of letting it go, letting it slide. But beyond that, I do think that because she's like this career as DA, the RICO charges against Donald Trump, I mean, they're valid. And I'm glad that she's doing that. And I want the case to continue, especially because they're going to be filming it. And that's like the one thing I've been looking forward to. This whole fucking year, for like the past couple of months, I've been waiting. So I don't want this to get in the way. Robert Kaplan says Trump threw papers across the table at Mar-a-Lago deposition because his legal team agreed to feed her lunch. What?
Preparing to argue this case, which is a hugely impactful case. This is about the president. This is about his ability to run in 2 states. I mean, it couldn't get bigger, really.
No, Sarah, and it's 6 days and counting. You know, as you said, consider the stakes. It could determine who is the next president of the United States, at least who ends up on the ballot, and consider the pressure. And we've got 2 relatively inexperienced lawyers before these justices. One lawyer, Jason Murray, representing the Colorado voters who do not want Trump on the ballot, has never argued before the justices. He has other strengths that we'll get to, but he's never appeared at the lectern there. Jonathan Mitchell, who will be appearing on behalf of Donald Trump, has argued a handful of times before the justices, but nothing like this kind of case. So how are they getting ready? They're both, as of today, moving their operations to Washington, D.C. and tapping into a very sophisticated network of lawyers who've argued many times before the justices and can help channel the justices. One of the main devices they will use are these dry runs called moot courts. And that's where about 4 or 5 lawyers, not 9 as in the real venue, 4 or 5 lawyers sit up on a mock bench or at a table and fire questions at these individual lawyers. It gives them a chance to not just practice their presentations, but to expose weaknesses in their presentations.
Okay, give me more Fani Willis, man. Did she or not? I feel like CNN is avoiding the fucking question here a little bit, okay? What are you hiding, CNN? Did she throw it back? I want to know. Is there a more reputable outlet that would cover this story with the seriousness that it deserves, like Fox News maybe? Let's take a look.
Coming up 18 minutes past the hour now, House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan apparently subpoenaed Fulton County DA Fani Willis for documents after 3 attempts that he had made to get her to respond to requests voluntarily to no avail. The subpoena is now for documents, not an appearance now, related to the Fulton County DA's use and misuse, allegedly, of federal funds. Willis is under the microscope for this alleged improper romantic relationship with a special prosecutor that she hired for the Georgia election interference case. That's the big RICO case now, stacked up against former President Donald Trump and many others. So we will see how that turns out for Jim Jordan.
That case is my new one life to live.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Who cares? I care. I don't understand why this matters. I don't think it does. Like, do I think it matters? No. But do I think it's salacious? Yes. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's improper that she the special prosecutor that she hired onto the case. If she was the judge, it's a little different. You know what I mean? But if you're on the same, when you're the DA and you bring in a special prosecutor, you're just like kind of hooking a homie up. It's not like she the judge. Okay, that's the difference. I feel like even in that circumstance, like, I mean, I think the judge would have to recuse themselves or the prosecutor. I don't know, someone. I assume it would be the judge that recuses themselves in that situation. But, 2 consenting black folk fucking is salacious now? Yes. It's such a big lawsuit. Why take the risk? Because I feel like she's a wheeler and dealer. That's why. I think that's the reason why she took the risk. This is like, I get the feeling that Fani Willis is like, this is her modus operandi a little bit, if that makes sense. She's 1, big careerist, and 2, I think she just like, maybe the dick was too good. I don't know. I mean, I think that she's like, no, it's not kickbacks, dude. I mean, she's probably like, yeah, I think the proper word would be reckless. Yes, the proper dick bags. Good one, Chatter. No, I think she is reckless.
We are tracking some.
Fonnie Willis to admit relationship with lawyer on Trump case, but denies conflict in draft filing.
Breaking news for you right now. CBS News has
Wow, for the first time, a little bit of real journalism. CNN's going to have to play a clip of Fonnie saying she did have.
learned exclusively in a filing by Fulton County District Attorney's Office an acknowledgement that Fani Willis engaged in a relationship with attorney Nathan Wade. You, of course, recall that both are working on the Georgia election interference case involving former President Donald Trump.
Joining us now with more on Willis's response is CBS News investigative producer Daniel Kleidman. Daniel, extraordinary reporting. Tell us what you've learned here, particularly about how Willis is expected to respond.
Well, CBS News obtained a draft of the filing, the response to the motion that had all these allegations about her having a relationship with Nathan Wade, the special prosecutor who she hired to lead the Trump investigation. And first of all, it acknowledges that there was a relationship between them, but it pushes back very hard on some of the facts that were alleged, but also on the idea that this represented any kind of conflict of interest that could lead to her disqualification from the case or dismissal against any of the defendants.
And you have that filing in front of you.
I do.
What stands out to you? What are the headlines?
Well, you know, one of the most, I think, important things in this filing is actually an affidavit, a sworn affidavit by Nathan Wade that is an exhibit. And I'll read it. He says in this affidavit, in 2022, District Attorney Willis and I developed a personal relationship in addition to our professional association and friendship. So there's the acknowledgement of the relationship. But importantly, he also says that relationship did not begin until 2022. My understanding is it's early to mid 2022. He was hired for this position by Fani Willis in November.
Oh, damn. They're saying late nights in the office, tensions got high. He is kind of hot. You know, a lot of people are presenting this as misogynistic. But I think it's misinterest, okay? Normally, you know, you always hear about like women f***ing to get ahead. The one time a man is f***ing to get ahead and y'all are all over his ass, it becomes a matter of national news, okay? I'm just saying. Now, of course, the misogyny in this circumstances, of course, that like they're only talking about Fani Willis. Well, he's a hero.
Of 2021. That is an important distinction because of the suggestion that she hired someone she was having a romantic relationship with and someone who had come under some criticism for not maybe having all of the credentials needed for a case like this. They also push back on that, by the way. The affidavit lays out in detail his experience as a lawyer, including having done a lot of felony cases in both state court and federal court.
Do we have a sense at all? I know obviously this is all still developing, but what this could mean in terms of consequences? I mean, what are the chances that Fani Willis might step aside now?
Well, this is the question that everyone wants to know, and there's a hearing that Judge Scott McAfee, who's the presiding judge. This
is literally the case of her lifetime. Like, this is a case of her life. If she stepped aside, if she doesn't step aside, Republicans use this permanently. Republicans are going to use this to try to drop the case anyway, which, by the way, there's no legal basis for this. It's ridiculous. They're on the same team. They can fuck, okay? It would literally be like if you had two lawyers that ran a operation together and they're like husband and wife. So it doesn't matter. They're coworkers. Like if this was a judge, that would be different, right? They're not allowed to fuck. No, they are, but they're trying to make it more salacious. Republicans will still use this as though it is like improper. But yeah, they're not opposing counsel, and I'm pretty sure you can still be opposing counsel as well, as long as your client. I mean, in I think like civil cases, as long as your client is fine with it. No, there's no conflict of interest because they're both on the same team. Like the reason why it's news is because it is, I guess, a little weird. Like it's unethical for sure, and it's a little weird. Like. It's especially weird because like this is Fani Willis's like entire life's work. Like this is the moment that her career takes it to the next step. Like the YSL Rico shit was simply a precursor to this. This is what's going to make or break her career. probably going to go and run for office after this, right? That dick has to be bomb as fuck for someone who is as career oriented to just like throw it all aside. Like, you know, you are under the fucking microscope. This is one of the most high profile cases in the country, perhaps of this fucking decade. You are dropping a RICO bomb on a former president in a televised trial. You're probably going to run for fucking Senate after this. You know what I mean? How bomb is this dick? Is it a thick 8? What are we talking about? Is it girthy? Okay, what's the refractory period? I need details because I am going to make a professional assessment on whether or not the dick was worth it. Okay? I think given the interest of the public to know about the outcome of this court case, the person prosecuting Donald Trump, I want to know whether they were making the right decision or not. Stop cock watching. No, I need to know. I need to know, are we talking veiny? Does he dress left or right? Are we talking grower or shower? What does it look like? What the weight is? What does it look like under cold conditions, cold climate conditions? This is something that I think the public deserves to know about. Because, yeah, curvature, does it hang a different way? Does it have a bend to it? Bro, I defend you from racist, but come on, man, what the fuck? This is, Your Honor, the people have a right to know, okay? The people have a right to know because it's such a wild thing for her to do this. Like, it's gotta, all jokes aside, like, it is an insane thing. She knows she's under a microscope. She's a massive careerist. Like, the fact that she just cast it all aside is so insane. Oh my God, there's a high profile chase happening. Well, not a high profile chase, sorry. Maybe a low profile chase. This is the stolen vehicle pursuit.